Alright, hello students, welcome to lesson 15.2, and here we're going to talk about logarithms. If logarithms and logarithmic functions, if that sounds new to you, then I've got good news. If you'll take the videos and look at them very, very carefully, you'll have a pretty good understanding of it, and then you'll remember it and it'll mean something to you in your life. If you know everything about logarithm, then good for you. Okay, just move on. But chances are that we have seen some of this information before and sort of breeze through it without really understanding it. And I do want to encourage you to make those connections so that you really know what you're doing. You'll remember it and it'll be of value to you. Okay, so in introducing logarithms, I do want you to know everybody likes your calculator. Okay, I like the calculator. I enjoy using it. But did you know that the calculator is more or less based upon this little device right here, which is a rule with numbers on it. And actually there's logarithmic type of measures on here. And so this was called a slide rule, and the slide rule operates on logarithms, which is really kind of neat. So when your parents or really grandparents went to school, they carried these around with them at Georgia Tech. And of course the logarithm is, logarithms are a shortcut way for calculating, and everybody knows about the abacus. By the way, this was purchased in Indonesia from a gentleman that did some missionary work there. So I hope that you find this particular study interesting, if not for the history itself. Okay, folks, let's take a moment and look at the task list. There are 12 items on the task list. Okay, so your organizer assignments all the way down there to videos. So let me take this. I will look at this briefly. I'll probably point out something about assignment problems on this. I'll look at that in less than 5 seconds. I urge every single one of you to look at this video because it's a great introduction. Evaluating logarithms, that's a very important task. So please, make sure you look at it, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, no, I meant make sure you look at it. So here's about graphs. I'm going to do an example of a graph in my introduction video. Mr. Khan does a good job on this video, so please watch it. Let's scoot up here. Properties of logs. There are 3 properties of logs. One is called the product rule, the quotient rule, and the power rule. And please know those 3 properties backwards and forwards. Now, these 2 videos right here, Mr. Khan does, I have to say, an outstanding job explaining them. It's one of his earlier videos, apparently, but you will enjoy it. So I know you got a lot on your plate right now, but if you'll take a look at those and understand it, it will help you immeasurably. And it will reduce the pain that you have when you try to rush through things and not understand. The change of base formula is a very powerful idea in mathematics. And here's an example where Mr. Khan is explaining that and using that, which is really kind of neat. So enjoy that, because I'm not going to make a video on that. He already did a good job on that one. And then you have your quiz. All right, so please, make sure you're aware of this and show up and do what you need to do there. That is all I have on this part. It is worth looking at this. Of course, the lesson focus, the attention on the last one was on exponential equations, but here it'll be extremely important to focus on properties of exponents to find the correlation to the logarithmic equation. So exponential and logarithmic. Logarithmic equations can be used in a variety of situations, and they are. It's a very important idea. And so here we're going to give special attention to the properties, the change of base, and so forth. All right, look at your outcomes for a second. Probably the most important one is number 1, converting from an exponential to a log form. So keep that in mind. Here you're evaluating log expressions with what? Without a calculator. And this is designed to help you to make sure you understand the notion of a logarithm intuitively, like without even having to write something down on a piece of paper. Evaluate expressions using a calculator. So again, you remember you have those two keys on your calculator, log and len, and you'll be using those. Here we're talking about graphing a function, which I think you'll find interesting. It'll include a lot of the things that we have talked about in our class up to this point. And again, the three properties. And then just talking about using the properties to rewrite log expressions. And this is crucial for doing logarithmic equations and other work in logs. So keep that in mind. Here you're taking a logarithm and breaking it down into different pieces. And here you're taking, number 7, you're taking different pieces and writing them as a single logarithm. And on 8, it's a change of base. And there's your task list, okay, your readings, your assignments. And remember, you're going to do the discussion 15 when you're done with at least 15.2 and your quiz. Again, let's see. Okay, down here to my lower right, okay, you have your reading assignments. This first one and the second one are two assignments that really will help you understand how to do the problems down here. So keep that in mind. Okay, your objectives in the first one. Okay, notice example 1. Can you evaluate this without a calculator? Can you evaluate this without a calculator? Do you know how to do log base 4 of 2? If this sounds like I'm talking gibberish to you, please make sure that you study the material carefully. Okay, you will see a problem like this. You say that len of e. It's actually the natural log, or log de naturel. That's French. Okay, we will be doing an example of log graphing a log function, and that's very important. By the way, Khan Academy does a really, really good one too. And yes, you are going to transform them. And, let me say, you can use your calculator, but you need to understand what's happening. Other than that, you're always just following what your calculator, quote, says to you. Okay, on the key takeaways, this one's talking about the definition of what makes a logarithm a logarithm. The second one's talking about converting. This next one's talking about the common log, the natural log, the graph. This is talking about how to graph transformations of log functions. So do take a look at that. Okay, I do want to point out to you, if you understand these very, very carefully, then that's great. But if you're worried, you're upset, or you don't know, go back and learn the basics well, and you'll find it to be a lot easier. So in the second reading, here are the properties: product, quotient, and power. And please make sure you know them intimately. The key takeaways in that second part of the reading, it's a review. Now, if you, after you get to this point, you're looking at this and you are very upset, you just didn't go back and understand the basics. It does take a little time, but it's worth it. The assignment section on that second part is really neat, so I hope that helps you as well. Okay, you're going to continue to see me refer to this. 2 cubes equal to 8, and the way you say this is log base 2 of 8 is 3. Now, if you notice in this video, in this particular part of your reading, this section right here should be read log base 2 of 16. The 2 should be down here. Now, you're going to see that in some of the formatting of this information, so a little heads up there. There's more that probably could be said about the task list, but just keep in mind, do the readings, go through the problems, look at the videos, and use your calculator to verify this information. Now, I'm going to do an introduction video that includes some concepts. I will try not to get bogged down and take a lot of time, but it is important that you look at it to make sure your head is around the concepts, and that may help you. Best wishes.